On average, we're spending 5 hours per day per user in a mobile app. That's up 6%, and it equates to 1/3 of our daily awake hours. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Data Blitz Tech-Seeking Human podcast, where we dissect the best reports each and every week. So let's fly into it as quickly as possible because this report is a monster. This is from Data.AI State of Mobile 2024, where we're going to be looking at how people are using their devices, the downloads, average spend, average time. I can tell you everything has gone up massively. Ellie?
I mean, yes, I think the mobile use obviously is something that is increasingly going up, as we keep talking about in the other episodes. But I took a look back through from when the iPhone first launched, which was 2008. I will admit that I actually didn't own an iPhone. I owned a Blackberry.
I'm very disappointed.
Oh, yeah? What's the problem?
Yeah, well, my Blackberry is not working.
Which is crazy because I was like 19 at the time, and so I'm not entirely sure why I thought a uni student needed a Blackberry.
Were you getting lots of emails as a university student, as a 19-year-old?
Do you know the worst thing is that I actually convinced one of my best friends to get one, and she like hated me for it.
Yeah, I understand. Well, Blackberry wasn't on the list, but what's in your top 10?
It wasn't. So top 10 for 2008 was Pandora Radio, which I actually do remember. Facebook, of course, because Facebook had just launched, I think 2 years prior. Shazam, which we still have today and I still use quite regularly. We've got Remote, Google Earth, Urban Spoon. So we're going to put up the top 10 just because, I mean, some of them I've never heard of. Dave, do you know them?
Google Earth, is that that must be pre-Google Maps.
It has to be definitely pre-Google Maps.
Pandora still exists, I think. But we just quickly grabbed the top 10 from today.
And this is interesting.
This is very interesting.
Top one is Temu, which is Shop Like a Billionaire. I am going to assume, which I probably shouldn't, but we should Google this. This is a shopping app developed by someone in China for launch in America?
Yeah. Cheap.
I've never heard of it.
It's big.
Shein I've heard of. So Shein is very similar. It's very big in Asia as well, where it is often quite criticised for being a knockoff brand, but hugely popular and very affordable. And, we've talked about this before, like, with the economy in the state that it is, it doesn't surprise us that there are people who are more willing to shop in these kind of places than before. The one thing I do want to talk about is number 6.
Yeah, because we literally just pasted this in 20 seconds before we hit record, and we both went, what's Truth Social?
So you Googled it and found it to be a tent-like social media app for America. I Googled it and immediately found that it is owned by Trump Media. What is more interesting is it wasn't in the list. It wasn't in the list yesterday. It's in the list today. And so something obviously profound happened. And what happened was Jimmy Kimmel at the Oscars posted on Truth Social last night at the Oscars, and boom, is now number 6.
This is frightening, I think, actually, that you can get a app into the rankings this quickly under the guise of a big tent for families to hang out and learn about networking and wine and things like that, and it's run by Donald Trump. And it's the year of an election.
The other ones on there are no surprise. You've got Google, Instagram, TikTok, WhatsApp and YouTube. So there's no real surprise there. Maybe there's Threads, which you and I think we can probably unhash maybe another time, but I'm surprised Threads is so high.
I mean, you look at this top list, there's Facebook, WhatsApp and Instagram all owned by the one company. You've got Google owning 2 of them as well. 3, because there's just Google. What is just Google? What is that? Out of interest.
Interesting. Is that Chrome? No, because then it'd be Chrome. It has to be Chrome.
Some people are downloading the Google. Let's have a look at the 2023 mobile landscape at a glance. App downloads were up 1% to 257 billion. That's 489,000 apps downloaded per minute.
I can't comprehend. You can't comprehend that kind of number.
Not everything is free, Ellie. Consumer spending hit a new high, $171 billion. That's up 3% year on year, which followed a 2% dip in 2022. So that's $325,000 per minute. And, nice business if you owned it. On average, we're spending 5 hours per day per user in a mobile app. That's up 6%. And it equates to 1/3 of our daily awake hours.
I mean, yeah, we're addicted.
Yep.
We're addicted. Our life, every part of our life is on it now. Our work, our social, our family. Like I mean, we're naked without them.
Yep. Yeah, and it's not just doom scrolling. Like I don't watch free to air TV. I only looked at my Samsung TV yesterday and realized that it had a free to air TV button, and I'm like, what's that doing there? Because I'm watching Apple TV, Netflix, YouTube. I listen to Spotify and Tidal. I listen to podcasts. I create them with you. I spend at least an hour a day using Peloton, which I guess is a healthy obsession. So we're app crazy.
We are. I mean, there's literally an app for everything, though, right?
So more people they're spending more time in apps. I'm assuming the advertisers are going to follow suit. You've come from a world of advertising. What were the stats like for advertising? Did we see an increase in mobile ad spends?
We did. It went up by 8% to $362 billion. That's nuts. That's quite a lot.
Yeah, that is a lot. And they reckon that the advertising spends overall are potentially going down because the brands don't have as much to spend on advertising, but they're clearly potentially reallocating budgets to where the eyeballs are.
Yeah, and they're looking at more video content, more short form video content, and investing in that type of media spend. I mean, we showed earlier, right? Like TikTok, Threads, Instagram. I mean, they're all heavily video focused. So it doesn't really surprise me that that's the area. The 8% feels like a very big jump for this year. So that's probably the thing that shocks me the most. But in terms of the content, no, that makes a lot of sense. In our industry, that's what we're getting the demand for. But it's also where we're seeing the effectiveness.
So let's have a look at the consumer app spends. So overall, there was an 11% increase in app spend to $64 billion.
Yeah, so if you look from 2019 to 2023, that's up from $33 billion to nearly $64 billion. Like, that's nearly double.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I think that people are more inclined to pay for apps now. I think because the development the quality is a lot better. And I think back then maybe we were a little skeptical of paying for something that we just believed should be free. But I definitely think that now we've become so accustomed to good experiences. If we have a bad one in a free app, we don't want it. And obviously, like, you know, there's a lot of apps that provide ads, and now you pay for ad free. And I think people are kind of more willing to invest.
Nothing's free, Ellie. You get ads, you get free trials, you get to unsubscribe, you get locked in like me, you end up with subscriptions that are through the roof, and before you know it, you're looking at your credit card statement and you're going, what is all this software that I've subscribed to? I forgot to cancel all of this stuff.
And we have literally in Singapore just wrapped up, that is the week of Taylor Swift, where Singapore government paid for Taylor Swift to exclusively perform just in Singapore. And we actually saw in this report that ticketing apps saw a demand soar by 31% in 2023, which is a 66% increase from pre-pandemic.
Yeah, well. This is back to the experiences that you were talking about. People want experiences, and music is one of the best experiences. I did have a theory that Taylor Swift is sponsored by the government because she's such a positive influence over all of the people in a particular city. I found it very interesting that a government is paying for concert goers. Yeah, and actually now I think about it, the WA government paid for Coldplay to exclusively go to Perth.
It's I mean, there's been some criticism of the government. I don't think it's a bad choice. I think it was incredibly smart for them to exclusively have Taylor Swift come here. It generated an amazing amount of travel and interest in Singapore, and no, I think it's Look, if you've got the
I
money,
think it's
spend it.
amazing. It was such a good experience for people. They get to see the city. If I think back over my highlight of the last year, going to the Taylor Swift concert and seeing all of the kids, all of the adults singing, dancing, the beautiful sunset that was in Melbourne, like that's better than going to some banks of a river and watching fireworks. But download the State of Mobile report, take a look, and have a look at our addictions, and maybe think twice before you download the Truth app.
Don't download the Truth app.
Well, if you want to be informed and you got to understand, you got to do some learning, you can, just maybe don't believe everything that's in the Truth app, because it's probably a twisted truth, like every app.
Thanks so much for joining us, everyone, and we will catch you next time.
Sorry, I wasn't listening. I was on an app. I was busy downloading Truth to find out whether it was,